Hi all, thanks for joining me today. We got a therapeutic class coming your way. Usually, I always recommend if you have any blocks or your blankets or a strap nearby, go ahead and grab them. Make sure you have some space around you to move, and when you're ready, come and join me. We're going to start sitting on our blankets if we have them. If not, you can be on the floor, but find a comfy spot. Let the eyes close or the gaze softens. Start to check in with the breath, check in with the body, noticing any areas of tightness or tension you might be feeling before we get started. See what areas we can start to soften and release. Using the breath as you exhale to melt away any of the tension you might be having here at the beginning of class. Letting the shoulders melt away from the ears, the knees drop towards the floor. Grounding through the sit bones as we're growing tall through the top of the head. So yes, we are working a little bit, but we're not overworking. We're being smart about which muscles to engage while also relaxing through where we can. As we inhale, the belly expands. Exhale, relaxing back. 2 more. Start to deepen the breath as you inhale and exhale. 3 more at your own pace. And with your exhales, starting to clear the mind, setting our intention for class today. And coming to the room right around you, to your mat underneath you. And just let that breath settle down. Keep your eyes open or you can keep them closed. We're going to drop the arms by our sides, chin down towards the chest. Just start to feel the back of the neck lengthen, but try to keep your shoulders down and back. Fingertips can touch the mat. We're going to roll your right ear over to your right shoulder. Pause. And then all the way over left ear, left shoulder. Pause. And chin down to the chest. Go ahead and lift your head, slight chin tuck. So we're engaging the back of the neck. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, drop your right arm down to the mat and reach that left arm up and then over for side bend. Inhale, opening up through the left side. 1 more here. Inhale, exhale over to the other side. Reaching up and out through those right fingertips as you take a big inhale and exhale. Last breath. Inhale through middle, exhale, twist off to your right. Turning to look over that right shoulder. Let your hips move freely here. You can let them move with you towards the right, if that feels better for the low back. And then inhale middle and exhale off to the left. Inhale, we grow tall. Exhale, twist maybe a little bit farther. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, come all the way through to hands and knees. And as usual, you can have your blankets under your knees. If you need a little extra cushion, have your blocks nearby. We're going to come into our tabletop position. So from here, my fingers aren't facing the whole front of my mat. They're turned out slightly. And for me, it works that my pinkies are at the edge of the mat. It might be a little different for you, but that helps me really get that external rotation in my shoulder. So my fingertips are slightly turned out and my elbow creases are facing forward. Shoulders slide down and back. We're going to inhale, drop the belly, look up towards the sky. And then exhale, round out through the upper back, let the head drop. Inhale through. And exhale. Working through cat-cow, a couple more rounds at your own pace. Toes can be tucked or untucked. Really feel each movement at each part of the spine. So as you tip forward, the pelvis tips down, the low belly drops down, the chest lifts, head lifts. And then think about that as you reverse it all the way through, pushing away from the floor, getting a stretch through the upper back. Last one. All right, we're going to get the knees a little wider, about mat's width apart. Feet can come together, sink back, child's pose. If you're having any discomfort in the knees, you can place your blankets right behind you, behind the knee crease there. And just breathe here, inhaling, opening up the low back. Exhale, just try to let your heart melt a little farther towards the mat. Arms can be straight, arms can be bent. As you inhale, walk your hands off to the left. They'll come off the mat. And then again, melt your heart towards the mat or floor. Get a little side stretch here. So inhaling, opening up that right side. One more breath. Inhaling with purpose, moving the hands off to the right. And then again, see how far you can get down on this side as you inhale, opening up that left side body. And coming through middle on your inhale. We're going to do a mini flow here next. So you can watch me first if you need to. We're coming from child's pose. We're going to inhale all the way up to your modified plank. And then exhale, drop everything down to the mat. Inhale to cobra, lifting the chest, sliding the shoulder blades back. And then exhale all the way back to child's pose. So we're kind of warming up the whole body, a little modified salutation here as you inhale up, modified plank. Slowly lower with control all the way to the mat. Slide your chest forward, gaze at the front of the mat or the mat right down in front of you. And then exhale all the way back. A couple more rounds here. Inhale, plank. Exhale all the way down through to mini cobra. And then exhale all the way back, child's pose. Inhale through. Exhale, lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, push all the way back, child's pose. Last one coming through. And by all means, if you know a little bit, if you need a little bit more of a challenge and you know how to progress, by all means, go ahead. And bring it up through plank. Exhale down to cobra. Inhale. And then exhale, child's pose. Very nice. So from here, just inhale back to your tabletop. Reset. I'm going to have my blocks just because I like to have them nearby. From here, we're going to inhale and bring that right knee through all the way. Step your foot between the blocks. If you need a little help with that leg, you can kind of help get that foot up. So you want to still have your knee aligned with your ankle. We shouldn't be too far over the toes, at least at this point. We're just finding neutral here in our low lunge. As we inhale, arms float up towards the sky. So let's try to tuck our tailbone under a little bit if we're overarching our low back, and bring the right hip crease back so their left and right hips are nice and aligned. Find your focal point. Next exhale, slowly lower the hands down to the floor or the block. From here, I want you to slowly lean forward, feeling a stretch. The knee will drift a little forward, but I can still see my toes. And you're going to feel that stretch through the left front of the hip. My chest is lifted. I'm still tucking my tailbone under a little bit to intensify the stretch so I don't have to lean too far forward where it will hurt my knees too much. And then exhale, we're taking it all the way back. Straighten that right leg for more of an intense stretch behind the hamstring or near the leg, at the back of the leg, the hamstring. Toes come towards you. You can be up higher on the blocks. You want to have, your upper back lifted. We're trying not to round out too much here. And work with whatever motion you have. Especially in the beginning, we're not as loose as we are towards the end of class. Okay, shift forward. You might need to slide that foot back to neutral. And from here, we're going to tuck the left toes, straighten that left leg, drive that left heel back behind you, opening up once more through that left leg. Staying strong through the arms, we're not sinking into the shoulders. And from here, I invite you to either keep the heel lifted of that left foot, or you can ground through the left foot if you need more balance. So you can even bring it up and ground into like more of a warrior one stance. But if you can, I want you to challenge that balance. Come all the way up, high lunge. Find your focal point. Tuck the pelvis under a little bit, taking out the arch in the low back. Breathe. Hands can be in prayer. Grounding through the right foot. We're going to pivot our left foot out into warrior two. Okay, so you can get yourself lined up here. You want the heel of the right foot lined up with the arch of the left foot. And the knee here and the foot, I want them to kind of be together, lined up together. So you don't have to put your foot all the way facing the front of the mat. You can turn it more towards the corner of the front mat so you have a little more mobility in the hip. I'm kind of tight right now, so I'm not going to have my toes face all the way out because I feel like I can't get in proper alignment here. So I'm just angling my toes a little towards the corner of the mat. Breathe here, gaze over the front of the right fingertips. Arms all the way up. And then drop your left arm back towards your left thigh, reverse it. Gaze up at the sky or gaze down at the floor. Inhale, warrior two, straighten the right leg. Exhale, reach those fingertips out towards the wall in front of you, over your right foot. Drop that arm down to your thigh or your shin. Triangle pose. So I'd rather you be up farther towards your knee with your hand and have more of a straight back and opening through the upper chest versus being way down here and our chest is facing the floor because we're not able to have enough movement at the upper back to come face all the way forward, and that's too much torque on the low back. So come out of it a little bit. You have a little more space in the back. Gaze up at the sky or gaze right in front of you. And then inhale. We're just going to take it all the way back down. So cartwheel those hands, find your blocks or the mat, and drop that left knee back down. And go ahead, big lift with the right foot. Come back to your tabletop. Check in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Next inhale, drive that left knee all the way up. Left foot comes through. We're grounding through the heel of that left foot. Tuck the toes if you need to of the back foot, or they can be untucked. Come all the way up your low lunge. Ground here for a breath or two. Next exhale, hands lower down to the mat or the blocks. We're gently moving forward, shifting our weight, opening up the hip of that right side, the front of the right side. Exhaling, shift all the way back, straightening through that left leg. You can kind of adjust it forward a little bit if you need to. And this front leg might be a little bit bent. And like I said, if you need to come up onto the high blocks, sometimes that's helpful. And sometimes that's just the way it is, flexibility wise, you know. We're all at different places. Each day is going to be different. I can tell I'm a little more tighter today from what I did yesterday. So just working with what I got and breathing. Exhaling into the back of that leg. And then bringing our weight forward, move the blocks or the hands, slide that foot back if you need to. And from here, we're inhaling, straightening that right leg, tucking the toes, of course. Feeling a stretch all the way from the heel up through the back of that leg towards the hip. Here's where our balance comes into play. So if you need to, whatever you have to do, ground that foot. Use the wall beside you if you have it. Use your blocks. Inhale, pull that belly button up and in. Use the core all the way up, high lunge. And if we weeble wobble a little at the top, that's fine. Just ground through that left foot. Wiggle the toes. That back leg is stabilizing. So again, find the focus, find the ground underneath the left foot. Keep it nice and strong as you pivot that right foot. And you might need to do a little bit of readjusting. Okay. Warrior 2. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, right arm down to right thigh. Reverse. Inhale, arms out, warrior 2. Reach those left fingertips over the left toes. Straighten that left leg. Triangle pose. Right arm comes up towards the sky. We're lifting the chest out forward. Again, I'd rather you be up out of the pose a little bit more than try to sink all the way down and get your ankle, because then we might not have as good quality. Very nice. And from here, we're cartwheeling, or however you want to get there. Back down to the mat, drop your knee. Lift that left leg all the way back. Knees come wide. We got child's pose. Take a breath. Inhale and come back up, tabletop. And go ahead and just cross your legs again, or side sit, however you want to get to seated. We're going to come with our knees bent and a little bit of boat pose. Couple variations we're going to do. So again, we're going to ground through our sit bones. We're leaning back a little bit. Use your hands here for support if you need to. Find your boat pose. If you hold here, this is completely fine. I'm just looking to try to keep my chest lifted, and I don't really want to round out right here too much. I want to engage our back muscles, engage our core, lift up, and maybe this is where you hold while we go through different variations, okay? If you want, arms can reach out in front. Lean back a little farther if you can. And just dabble with lifting one foot up, one foot down. Other foot lifts, and then lower. Try one more each way. Lift and lower, lift and lower. Now keep going one at a time or try both. Breathe. I'm keeping my knees bent. You can also have them straight. Last breath. And then slowly come down on the exhale. I just like to kind of grasp my wrists and just let my head sink here. Rock a little side to side. Let that back kind of release a little bit here. And we're going to go through one other variation. So we're inhaling up tall, exhale back into boat, hands on the floor, hands up. If you want to lift both feet up, you can. You can keep both feet on the floor, that is fine. And we're going to try moving the arms this time. So feet can be down, so you can have your hands off the floor if it feels okay. We're inhaling, arms up. Exhale, arms off to your left hip. Inhale up. Exhale to the right. Inhale up. Exhale off to the left. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Good. And then come all the way, release. Kind of like you're imagining you were holding maybe a block or a ball. Inhale. And with control, lower all the way down. Very good. One more little bit of core work here. So similar with the legs, they're going to be bent, and we're going to raise them up into our tabletop on our back. So try not to have the knees too far in or too far out. Well, try to keep them lined up. I know mine might not be 100% perfect, but we'll make do. Okay, so we're holding here, palms on the floor. I'm still trying to stay relaxed through my neck, through my jaw, through my face. That's kind of my cue of if you can relax your legs for a second. It's kind of a cue if we're doing too much, if A, we can't breathe while we're doing what we're doing, if we're holding our breath along those same lines, if we have a lot of tension in our jaw, we're clenching our jaw, a lot of tension in our neck, in our face. Those are all cues that, hey, maybe we need to back up. Try a little bit lesser version, which is not really a lesser version. It's what you need at that time. So be humble. Try not to let the ego get in the way. Be mindful of how you're doing and how you're feeling and honor that and know that that's okay. So feet, we're going to raise our feet up. If that's too much, there's other options, okay? We can always have the feet on the floor. Okay, so from here, palms down. I want you to try to straighten the right leg, lower the right leg down to the mat, and then bring it all the way back to the beginning. Knees bent, left leg straightens, lower, and then exhale all the way back. Inhale, straighten and lower, right leg. Exhale, tabletop. Inhale, straighten left leg, lower. Exhale, pull it back. Try a couple more at your own pace. If this is too hard, like I said, our feet are on the mat. We're straightening and lowering from here. So you have options. The main thing is you want to keep the hips stable and try to keep the low back mostly on the floor. So you don't want the low back to be strained. You don't want it to be arching too much off the floor. Nice and controlled. Last round. And then if your legs are up, go ahead and lower them. And just like big, wide stance, like about mats width apart, just let the knees drop to one side, to the left, and then off to the right. Kind of like those windshield wipers. Inhale, drop them off to the other side. Exhale, pause. And one more time, up and over. Just letting that low back release. All right, come back through middle. Knees come back towards each other. Heels back towards the hips. A little bit of space between the knees where palms are down on the floor. We're inhaling, lifting the hips up off the floor, coming into bridge. Same thing here. Tension in our neck and our jaw and our head. We should be pretty relaxed around this area, not crunching through our neck. We can bring our shoulder blades together a little bit here if we need to. Hold one more breath. Exhale, slowly lower. If you have any low back issues, don't just try to keep your hips and your low back nice and stable. Don't worry about articulating the back one spine at a time. Just come straight up. Inhale, lift the hips. If your low back, you're not feeling any discomfort or pain here, you can work on lowering and raising one vertebrae at a time, but it's not necessary. And last breath as you exhale with control all the way down. Very good. Both knees come into the chest. Do a little rock, a little roll. Maybe draw some circles with the knees. Very good. And from here, just go ahead and relax the legs all the way down. They can be bent, they can be straight, whatever position you find comfortable for some relaxation. And just let yourself connect back to your body, back to your breath. Knowing the ground is underneath you, supporting your body from head to toe, giving yourself permission to just let go. Let go of what might be holding on to that isn't serving us. Let go of any tension or tightness that you still might be having throughout the body. Let those shoulders fall away, down and back. Let the toes fall away from each other. Hands feel heavy into the earth. If you made an intention for class, check back in. An Take a minute to think of a couple things that you feel grateful for today. Maybe your hands travel towards the heart. Smile spreads across the lips, across the heart. Let that feeling of gratitude really sink in for a breath or two, feeling its goodness. And as you're ready, we're slowly rolling on to one side, taking our time as we come all the way back up. Hands will come into prayer in front of the heart. You can drop your head towards your hands. Thank you guys for practicing with me today. Great job. Namaste. Thank you guys again for joining me. If you liked the class, go ahead and like the video down below and subscribe so you can get all the new updates whenever I post a video, okay? Have a good day.